Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloyim, Adonai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shah Malak Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders wearing millstone. Peace and salutations and hope for elect. Habaya Shah Malak Dawadah, the house of King David. And to the fusion of faces that look like these heathen nations, but their identity goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the royal holy chosen seed line. Shalom. Alright. As you can see, here is a picture of clean versus unclean meat. And nowadays it's like you could look up like, biblical laws on Google, and you could find like, pictures of, that's how easy it is, to find pictures of the laws of the Bible. But the funny thing is, some uh some Christian pictures or whatever, like they will some of it will show you, like when you look it up, they will tell you that, some Christian churches will claim that they follow these laws or whatever. Because like over here it says, if you look at the bottom of this image, it says United Church of God, and for the most part, Slovakia, for the most part, churches don't uphold the law. So, as it says right here, it says, you shall therefore distinguish between clean and unclean, between clean and unclean, clean animals and unclean, between unclean birds and clean. And you shall make yourselves abominable by beast or by bird or by any kind of living thing that creeps on the ground, which I have separated from you as clean. And you shall be holy to me, for I, Adonai, am holy, and have separated you from the peoples, that you should be mine. Leviticus 20, chapter 20 to 25, verse 25 to 26. So yeah, so that shows you that our people, like, we're not really just people, we're holy people. And you see, the Most High, he distinguished, like, he made us different than the heathens, because the heathens, they wouldn't uphold the laws. You see, the heathens, they eat any damn thing. Like, you see these fucking Edomites, they will eat like anything like that's roadkill. And there's Edomites that, if you look at the extreme cheapskates, like the family, there was a family that only eats just roadkill, which is fucking disgusting. And because you never hear of a Jake eating roadkill, you never hear of a Jake doing that. I never heard of a black person or a Spanish person or Native American eating something that's considered as roadkill. But don't get me wrong, you still have some Jakes out there that will eat what you call it, that will eat uh like shrimp, lobsters, and crabs. Don't worry, I used to eat that stuff too when I was in the world, but over time, when I started realizing that those animals were nasty, those animals are like, they're the same as pigs, but in the water, because they clean the sea and they eat anything that is garbage. I started to realize, and they also have parasites in them. I started to realize that those animals are no good. So it says right here, like, um, they show you the difference between the clean flying animals and the unclean flying animals, the clean insects and the unclean insects, the clean land animals and the unclean land animals, and the clean water animals and the unclean water animals. So basically, you shouldn't really eat water animals that don't have fish and fins and scales. You know, you will usually see like those Asians, like, Moab and Ammon, Chinese and Japanese people, like, they will eat, like, a lot of seafood. Mostly in Japan, seafood is a famous thing. They will eat they will eat the abominable foods, like they'll eat dolphins and sharks and squid, octopus, and jellyfish. They eat all those type of things, and that's why. And then even you got in China, they over here eating fucking um dogs and cats, and then they eating they even have bat soup. I didn't even heard of that shit. And that's the reason why the coronavirus is spreading, and that's why you have all these other diseases spreading, because people don't eat the right foods. People don't eat clean foods. Our food is defiled in general, but I'm just saying you still should try to eat, like, you should still try your best to eat, like, the proper food to the best of your ability. Because we live in a world where we have Esau who taints of our food. So it's like, he might, even though you might be eating something that's chicken or turkey, but you never know, it might have some, it might, even though if it's USDA organic and non-GMO as they claim, you know we live under a world where this devil lies. So it's like, you know you don't know what you're eating. And even though if you're eating something that's 100% organic, you still gotta breathe the chemtrail air, and it's still contaminated with the chemtrails in the air. So it's really hard to follow you know the clean food law, but you should still follow it to the best of your ability. you know like, if you clearly see it's an unclean animal and it fits in these categories on the right, you shouldn't eat it. But if it fits on the categories on the left, um yeah, that's the food that you're supposed to be eating. So nowadays you have, like, well, I mean, you've been having them, like, for a while, these these 501c3 pork, seafood, basically eating pastors. They will act like the law is done away with, and they will tell you that, oh, you could eat anything. They tell you that the laws are done away with, but look what the Most High said. It says in Proverbs 7:2, keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. So I don't know where in the fuck the law was done away with. If the Bible always keeps telling you that you should follow the laws, and in this case, the dietary law is a real important law to follow. Because, like I said, viruses are spreading, and all new diseases are spreading. And it mostly happens from people eating abominable foods. You know, this is not this is not a joke. And I don't know who the hell will come up with eating a fucking bat, but you know how these heathens are. And it shows you that wait, let me see if I can find it. There's a picture that shows that, like, usually there's a land counterpart to the land and the sea. The animals that's in the land, you know will be like the same. They will be, kind of like, they will be looking a little similar to animals that's at sea, the animals on the land. So there's a picture that shows that. I kind of always thought of it before I saw that picture, like, that spiders look like crabs, and then that lobsters look like, scorpions, in a way. I've always thought of that. But let me show you the picture. Yep, and that's basically what it is. Like, you'll see, and yeah, I forgot to mention, shrimps are like roaches. Yeah, I've always heard that shrimps are like the roaches of the sea. And it shows you that, like, they're nothing different. If whatever you see on the land and whatever you see on the sea, you'll see that they're actually related in a way. And then, like, you might see, like, there's tigers on land, and then there's tiger sharks. You know. So, what you call it? And let me see. And oh yeah, And another thing they show you is that, like, how with pollution, right? Because these animals are being consumed a lot, the crabs and the lobsters and the shrimps. Because these crustaceans, they will clean the sea. And they're also food for, like, let's say some animals like penguins. But, you know, where you have the dumbest of our people, and then you have the stupid heathens that be consuming these creatures. But and this was actually jail food before. I don't know how the fuck it became a delicacy food. But you see how the Most High, he could change people's minds just like that, you know. But you will see like that's the reason why a lot of pollution is on the rise, in certain oceans and lands and stuff like that, because you have animals like this that's getting consumed a lot, and these animals are supposed to be cleaning the sea, in the oceans, and then you have a lot of people that's consuming these animals. And you see, and it shows you they said these are the diseases that they expose, or whatever, the ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, that it says we expose 3 viruses. These are diseases transmitted by crustaceans: Tora syndrome virus, white spot syndrome virus, and yellowhead virus, all of which cause mortalities in wild and cultured pinned shrimps to crustacean parasites on fish and crabs. And let's see the diseases that's caused by pigs. Swine influenza is caused by influenza viral strains, which primarily infect swine but can be transmitted to people in close contact with infected pigs. Erysipelas, leptospirosis, and streptococcus are bacterial infections that occasionally infect pigs. You shouldn't really eat any of these animals, because these animals are just dirty. And they're also infected with parasites. These animals are made to be unclean, and y'all not supposed to be eating that. You see, it says trichinosis is caused by eating raw or undercooked pork and wild game infected with the larvae of a parasitic worm. The contaminated meat is infected with the larvae of a worm called Trichinella spiralis. The severity of symptoms depend on the number of infectious worms consumed in the meat. That's why you guys shouldn't be eating unclean animals, man. The funny thing is, you could do your research on why you shouldn't be eating these type of meats. You will be better off safer eating clean meat. Trying to go to, like I said, the organic section, and try to find like organic meats to eat, instead of eating meats like this. That's not that's not mentioned. That's mentioned as a basically an unclean meat. You shouldn't be eating meat like that. You should only be eating meat that's on the clean section. That's my main point, and that's pretty much all I gotta say. That's why you see a lot of people getting all these diseases, like they getting all these type of viruses, they getting gout, all these type of diseases, because they eating unhealthy, getting high blood pressure. So that's all I gotta say. Hope I made that lesson edifying. Like to give all glory, praises, honor to Adonai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shah Malak Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakadash, double honor to the apostles and elsewhere, millstone, peace, salutations, and hope for elect. Scatter abroad. Shalom.